Thank you. I'd like to call to order the Glendale Redevelopment Agency for November 25th, 2008. May we have the roll call, please?
Agency members Draymond.
Here.
Quintero.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Yusefian.
Here.
Chairman Najarian.
Here. May we have your report?
Agenda for the November 25th, 2008 regular meeting of the Glendale Redevelopment Agency was posted on Thursday, November 20th, 2008 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Okay, next item.
Approval of minutes.
So moved.
If no objections or corrections, the minutes will be approved as submitted. Next item, please.
Next item is oral communication. Discussion is limited times items not a part of this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. Members of the redevelopment agency may question or respond to a speaker, but there will be no debate or a decision, and the matter may be referred to staff through the executive director for an investigation and report.
Thank you. I have a card from Herbert Milano.
Good afternoon, members of the Redevelopment Agency, city staff. My name is Herbert Milano. I'd like to do a follow-up from last week's answers to my questions with regard to the financial justification for the Americana. You know, the problem with the Brown Act, whenever a speaker comes in to make an observation, is that even though no item is being agendized and no policy decisions are being made, nonetheless, the public is limited to only a one-way presentation, then sitting down and then getting a reply, for which we cannot rebut or clarify to the public immediately. So I have to do it a week later. I gave a compliment 3 weeks ago to the staff for the report on the revenues from the Americana. And at that time, we got a presentation on from the redevelopment agency on the property taxes and sales taxes. Now that we're doing the sharing of revenues from the parking, that would be, I guess, the third main source of revenue. And so I give a compliment for getting that type of information, because for many months we had not received one because the data was not available. So I give a compliment, but that doesn't mean that the information was complete. And I believe that when a proposal of this magnitude is made to the public, or say, here are the 3 benefits that the city will get. You will remove blight. You will have an identity of a center of commerce that is unequal in Southern California, so a place to shop, a lifestyle center. And you have an investment. And those were the 3 primary reasons given for the type of investment that Glendale made with Caruso Affiliated Holdings. And so we have pretty much an answer with regard to the first 2. But the third one, we do not have a complete answer. We only have a partial answer. You know, and I would expect that if we were to say, here are the financial justifications that I want to persuade the public with, meaning here are the revenue and the revenue sharing, which after all was part of the justification. Here's the revenue, and here are the expenses with regard to the revenue. And, or at least, here are the inflows that are coming into the Glendale, here are the outflows relating to that project. So I would imagine that after spending $77 million, that we will get at least one comprehensive financial report on that investment. And irrespective of the other benefits that the community is getting from it, having a financial justification clearly made to the public, I think, is what's necessary. Look, the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, the GASB, on Statement 34, makes clear, it justifies the type of reporting that they expect cities to do. And I look at it and I say, okay, you have all the accounting of it with regard to the different funds, but you don't have a true conveyance of the information to the public in a way that is comprehensive to say, we wanted you to vote on this, or we voted on this, and we had a referendum where the voters approved of this concept. And one of the major justifications on all kinds of documents was, here is the financial return on that investment. Well, we can do many things with that financial return, but at the very least, we should be able to say, here's the revenues that came from it, and here are the expenditures that came out of it. And I would imagine that one of those is the debt service. It applies to that the city obtained for purposes of acquiring those properties. To say, what is the real bottom line on just those two. Although I could take further the actual return on investment a lot further, because besides the $48 million bond, we have the rest of the properties and expenditures that the city made in that regard. So that to give the public a clear, honest appraisal of what the return is. And even though we may have a loss, which we probably are in terms of a negative outflow with regard to the cash proceeds from this particular entity, we can say, all right, here is the truth, and we give it to the general public as clear as it is, and here are the benefits. But for us not to present the financial justification, I think is wrong. We ought to present to the public very clearly a statement, pull the information from all of these funds, and present it as it was originally presented to the residents with regard to buy into this, because these are the financial outcomes expected. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no other cards. I will close oral communications. Next item, please.
Any agency member or staff comments?
Comments? No comments? No new business?
Move to adjourn.
Actually,
Mr. Draymond.
I'm sorry, when will be the appropriate time, Mr. Chair, for us to begin to announce our schedule?
For the December
holiday
schedule?
Yes.
And
In
any
terms of
time you
housing
like,
authority.
the city attorney will have a resolution for you probably at the meeting of the 9th.
Meeting of the 9th, I'll have
You
a
can
motion
certainly
for you,
comment on
both
any time
for
you
the
feel is
redevelopment
appropriate.
agency and the council. Well, you can certainly mention it now if you'd like, or any other time.
Well, for the,
I mean, just in terms of the housing and the agency, I hadn't dawned on me, Mr. Yusefian went during housing. I'm
Oh, I
sorry.
figured that he will come forward on the 9th, and that's
I'll bring a report
enough
with a motion
advance
for you.
notice.
And
Yeah, we can comment on what we'd anticipate bringing forward. We anticipate, as you've done in past years, bringing forward resolutions that would essentially cancel the meetings on December 23rd, which is the week of Christmas, and December 30th, the week of New Year's. We would anticipate, as a result of Armenian Christmas falling on January 6th, to suggest and recommend that you instead hold the meeting that would have occurred on the 6th on the 7th, which is a Wednesday. Technically speaking, that'll be a special meeting as opposed to a regular meeting, but it would essentially be the same agenda and the same items that would have appeared on the Tuesday.
And the housing
again,
and the redevelopment will
Housing and
be-
redevelopment would flow the same way. Now, that's subject to the majority of the council adopting the resolutions, but that is what we would anticipate bringing to you at the meeting probably on the 9th.
9th, or if I could have enough time this afternoon, we could have it on the 2nd.
Okay, we'll do it as quickly as we can.
But we can.
okay. Thank you.
There's
Any
a
other
motion.
comments?
There's a motion.
There was a motion.
Just a second.
Motion to adjourn and seconded. We are adjourned.